Hello there, good evening. This is Prime TV News Live with me, Lahiru Waduke. We begin with our headlines with top stories tonight. The President instructs to address fall army worm menace in the caliber of a war. Second phase of the Siapata Sevena housing scheme vested with public under the patronage of the Premier. Foreigners arrested with heroin. The Matara Hambantota Expressway to be commissioned in August. And in news overseas, Taliban attack kills more than 100. Starting off with our headline-making story, President Maithripala Sirisena has given instructions to relevant authorities to fulfill their respective duties with great commitment. He added that toil that has to be undertaken by the officials is equivalent to a war, as fall army worm has posed a massive threat to agricultural crops. The President further instructed to implement a concerted effort with assistance of the public and the private sectors. He wanted to launch a national program with a given time frame to address the menace. President Sirisena gave these instructions during a meeting held at the Presidential Secretariat. The discussion was focused on finding swift measures to minimize the harm caused by fall army worm. At present, several steps are being taken in this regard, and a presidential task force also established to supervise this program under the guidance of the President. The President also instructed the Deputy Minister of Mahaveli, Ajit Manna Peruma, and an additional Secretary of the Presidential Secretariat and senior representatives of the Ministry of Plantation Industries to coordinate the work of the Presidential Task Force. In addition, the President advised to implement an awareness program aiming farmers and farmer organizations. Ministers P. Harrison and Daya Gamage, State Minister Amir Ali, and the Secretary of Mahaveli and Environment Ministry and several other government officials also attended the meeting. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe presided over the ceremony to vest second phase of the Siapata Sevena housing scheme with public. The first phase of the Siapata Sevena housing scheme was commissioned in the Dematagoda Aramya area previously. The housing project is aimed to provide better dwelling places for the low-income people of the Colombo city and suburbs. The government incurred 1,064 million rupees for the second phase of the project. The project is meant to create smart cities. The Siapata Sevena project was implemented by the Urban Development Authority. Minister Patali Champigaranamaka and several other political representatives were present at the opening ceremony. Meanwhile, 5 suspects, including foreigners from the US and Afghanistan, were arrested with possession of heroin weighs 90 kilograms. The value of the heroin stock that was seized by the police special task force exceeds 1 billion rupees. The arrest was made during a raid conducted at a super luxury housing scheme in Kollupitia. A suspect who is among the arrested is one of leading local businessmen. Now, the government has planned to commission the Southern Expressway from Matara to Hambantota in August. The expressway, extending to 96 kilometers, passes many marshy lands and wetlands. As measures have been taken to construct the road on concrete pillars, the damage on environment has been minimized. The new construction will speed up economic growth in the southern province and will work as a catalyst for a complete range of areas, including investments and tourism. The estimated cost of the expressway from Matara to Hambantota stands as 242 billion rupees. The construction is being completed with 4 lanes. The project is done in 4 phases. President Maithripala Sirisena says the necessary future steps will be taken by him as the minister in charge to make the police department a professional body which is filled with intellectuals.
The President said that the National Police Academy should be elevated up to the level of degree awarding institute. He further said that if there are any obstacles in this regard, he will take steps to remove all such obstacles. He made these remarks addressing the diploma awarding ceremony of the National Police Academy held at the BMICH. President Sirisena, expressing his views, further said that during the past period, many activities that should be done to strengthen the police department as well as to raise the quality standards of the department have been neglected. The President said that he had taken many steps to strengthen the police department within a short period of 2 months, and currently a number of legal reforms have been made to strengthen the police department, and the Attorney General is also making arrangements for the drafting of new rules and regulations according to his instructions. Action against crimes will not be curtailed just because so-called campaigns of some elements. He further added that even if there are negative impacts at the next election, decision made for the betterment of the people and the country will not be delayed. He said that the highest privileges will be given for the police service, which accomplishes responsibilities on behalf of the people and the country, risking their lives. Prize giving of the first diploma of the National Police Training Institute under the theme Professionalism Through Wisdom was held under the patronage of the President.
Now, Finance and Media Minister Mangala Samravira called on the United Kingdom's Minister of State for the Commonwealth and United Nations, Lord Tariq Ahmed of Wimbledon, at his office in Westminster, London. The minister's meeting was intended to discuss progress made in the areas of human rights and reconciliation and other matters of mutual interest. Lord Ahmed is also Prime Minister Theresa May's special representative on preventing sexual violence in conflict, freedom of religion and belief. News from the judiciary now. Former Defence Secretary and 6 other defendants appeared before the Special Permanent High Court this morning in connection with the alleged misappropriation of public funds to the tune of 33.9 million rupees.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa and 6 others are accused of mishandling the fund allocated to construct the D.A. Rajapaksa Memorial Museum. Filing his objections, attorney at law appeared on behalf of Gotabaya Rajapaksa, stated that the Permanent Special High Court is not eligible to hear the said case. A group of employees attached to the Land Reclamation and Development Corporation also appeared before the Special High Court as witnesses. However, the judges informed the employees that they had been ordered to appear before the court today by a mistake. The witnesses were also informed that if they want to travel abroad, they need to obtain permission from the court, producing a valid affidavit. Accordingly, 3 witnesses stated that they intend to go abroad in the near future. The case has been filed under 7 counts. 80 witnesses have been named. The case will be taken up again on the 31st of this month. Meanwhile, former Superintendent of Prisons Emil Ranjan Lamaheva, who has arrested and remanded in connection with killing 27 inmates of the Valkada prison in 2012, were ordered to be further remanded till the 5th of February by the Colombo Chief Magistrate. Emil Ranjan Lamaheva has filed a revision bail application before the Court of Appeal. The Criminal Investigation Department informed the court that investigations pertaining to the incident are in progress. IP of the Police Narcotic Bureau, Nyomal Rangajiva, who was also arrested and remanded relating to the same incident, was granted bail previously. The case against former General Secretary of the UMP, Tissa Attanayake, will be taken up before the Colombo High Court on the 12th of next month. Tissa Attanayake is accused of forging documents, putting current presidents and prime ministers' signatures with the intention of instigating racism. The Attorney General has filed the case under 3 indictments.
Opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa commenced his duties officially at the opposition leader's office at the parliamentary complex. The opposition leader assumed his duties amidst religious blessings at the opposition leader's office. A number of parliamentarians of the opposition attended the event. Meanwhile, the committee report on the tense situation occurred in the House on the 14th, 15th and 18th of November was submitted to the Speaker today. Deputy Speaker Ananda Kumarasiri, Minister Ranjit Madduma-Bandara, parliamentarians Bimal Ratnayaka and Mave Senadiraja attended the event to handing over the report. The Speaker appointed a 6-member committee on inquiring the clashes occurred inside the Parliament on the said days. France and Canada have agreed to extend their support for power and energy sector of Sri Lanka. This was stated when heads of diplomatic missions of both countries called on Minister Ravi Karunanayake at the Ministry of Power, Energy and Business Development. The discussion between the minister and the diplomats was focused on ever-increasing demands with rising populations and technology. The minister highlighted that the government wants to come up with a proper mechanism to encounter such demands. According to the ambassadors of France and Canada, Sri Lanka is ahead as compared to other countries in the region when it comes to ensuring basic infrastructure, for instance, power and energy, which is a remarkable achievement made by the island nation. Minister Karunanayake further said that the government is committed to provide uninterrupted electricity supply to the people without increasing the cost. He also stated that profound attention has been granted on strengthening regenerative energy sources. Now, the Department of Agriculture states that the fall army worm has invaded into the country from India. Director General of the department, W.M.W. Veerakon, says further investigations are underway to get the finding confirmed. Veerakon also said that a range of programs are being carried out to control the fall army worm menace in the country. Awareness programs targeting the farmers have already been commenced. A resident of Samadhipura area in Savanagala, BLG Sriani, says she has discovered a treatment using organic substances to control fall army worm. A group of agricultural officers of the Mahaveli Authority inspected her finding. Meanwhile, Vanaspati Nature Association convened a press briefing regarding the situation. Indrajit Pereira of the association said that some pesticides will be introduced to control the menace by certain companies to reap benefits out of the situation. Minister Daya Gamage says all the government ministries and institutions should work hand in hand to address the disastrous situation. He also highlighted that media outlets should be keen on propagating the message on this kind of havocs and encourage the policymakers and stakeholders to address the issue with immediate effect. Meanwhile, the Naula police seized a lorry of maize that has been affected by the fall army worm. The stock was being transported to a farm in Matale. Assistant Director of the Gannorua National Agricultural Information and Communications Centre, Sanath M. Bandara, refuses certain claims that the fall army worm has been trafficked to Sri Lanka by some subversive elements. The Government Medical Officers Association says they are ready to support President Maitripala Sirisena's program on eliminating drug menace. Addressing a media briefing held in Colombo, Secretary to the GMOA, Dr. Haritha Alutge, said they will back the anti-drug initiative without any reservation. He added that it is the duty of all walks of life to lend their support for the President's move for the betterment of the future generations of the country. Dr. Uday Gunaratna of the GMOA said that his organization made requests from the authorities repeatedly to curb drug menace, but very little response was received in the past. He added that at present, President Sirisena has embarked the campaign against drugs without any hesitation. Archaeological excavation work of the 2 lotus ponds that were found from the Laksha Uyana reservation in Polonnaruwa commenced yesterday under the directions of President Maitripala Sirisena. The 2 lotus ponds would resemble with the lotus pond belong to the Polonnaruwa era that has already been discovered. The two archaeological findings had been hidden in a thick forest and buried in the soil. The excavation will be completed within 3 months under the leadership of Assistant Archaeological Director of Polonnaruwa, O.R. Jayatilaka. Each and every archaeological site in forest areas will be excavated and conserved in the future. Finally, in our local news segment, a stock of illegal drugs that has been stored in a place in the Baddegama area to sell to school children has been seized by the police. The raid was made under the instructions of Senior DIG of the Southern Province, Ravi Vijayagunawardena. It was revealed that the culprits have run the place to sell illegal drugs in the pretext of indigenous medicine stall. The Special Investigation Unit of the Southern Province says the drug traffickers have intended to sell the illegal drugs to students of popular schools in the area during the forthcoming inter-house sports meets. A suspect has been arrested with illegal drugs and was produced before the Baddegama Magistrates Court. Well, with that, we wrap up today's news bulletin. You can log on to www.itnnews.lk for more of the latest. I'm Lahiru signing off along with my news team, wishing you a good night.